There have been few greater champions of Israel in the United States Congress than you. And you've met with resistance time and time again under this administration. I'm not trying to blame this on Joe Biden. I understand who's to blame. But the United States' role in facilitating the enrichment of Iran and of Hamas has to be examined. So let's just start there with the money and what exactly you've been objecting to for the past few years.
Well, Megyn, you are exactly right. What is unfolding in Israel right now is truly horrific. This is being widely referred to as Israel's 9/11, and it is of that degree of magnitude. We're seeing atrocities carried out against innocent civilians that have not happened since the Holocaust. We are seeing death squads of Hamas terrorists who are going house to house and murdering every individual in the house, murdering women, murdering children, murdering the elderly, murdering infants. We're seeing these death squads viciously raping women and children in front of their parents, in front of the entire street. We're seeing bodies paraded in front of everyone. We're seeing people who have been kidnapped and tortured, paraded and held out as trophies, and then taken back to be used as human shields to guard the missiles, to guard the military headquarters of Hamas. This is a human rights violation and a war crime of a level that just takes the breath away. And there are many reasons to be infuriated about this, but one of the most fundamental is what you are seeing on your screen was in a very, very real sense paid for by Joe Biden and the Biden administration. Since Joe Biden became president, he has flooded roughly $50 billion to the government of Iran, to the Ayatollah. And understand, Hamas, those terrorists that are raping and murdering and torturing and killing women and children, they work for Iran. They are Iranian proxies. They are paid for by Iran. They are controlled by Iran. Now, how did Joe Biden send $50 billion to Iran? Well, most recently, he sent $6 billion that was explicitly on its face a ransom for 5 Americans who'd been kidnapped. In doing so, he set a bounty, he set a price that the going price for kidnapping an American is $1.2 billion. As I said at the time, the chances of other Americans being kidnapped have just escalated. Well, we've seen in the last few days, there are multiple reports of numerous Americans that are among those who've been kidnapped now that the Biden administration has set a price for what they'll pay for kidnapped Americans. But it wasn't just the $6 billion, because a few weeks earlier, the Biden administration sent an additional $10 billion. That was money that was coming from Iraq, and the Biden administration sent it to Iran. That ups the total to $16 billion. But even that dramatically understates it, because from the very beginning, the Biden administration refused to enforce the American sanctions on oil sales. The most effective thing we've done against Iran is sanction their oil sales, which had crippled their economy and brought their economy to its knees. Joe Biden came in, he refused to enforce the sanctions on those oil sales. Right now today, Iran is selling 2 million barrels of oil a day because Joe Biden wants them to, he allows them to. And collectively, all of that money that has gone to the Ayatollah is roughly $50 billion. That money is paying for the rockets that are murdering Israelis. That money is paying for the death squads. And their attack was planned and directed by the Ayatollah and the brutal regime in Iran.
It's been confirmed. I mean, it's the Wall Street Journal had a report pointing that out, that they not only did they plan it, not only did they sanction it, but the Iranians met with Hamas in Beirut a couple of months ago and gave the go-ahead and sat down and planned it.
Yes.
I mean, this is clearly an Iranian operation, and Hamas pulled it off. And we'll get to how on earth they managed to pull it off, because I think a lot of our friends in Israel have been living under the belief that they were safe thanks to Iron Dome and so on, and discovered, similar to the way that we did on 9/11, that despite Israel's strength and amazing intelligence capabilities and so on, this was a catastrophic failure. And all of that will have to be seriously looked into. But what's likely to happen now, Senator? What's likely to happen? Because Israel hasn't yet unleashed its full force in response to this. And now they're looking at a possible possible addition of Hezbollah from Lebanon in the north. We're looking at Iran. I mean, could there be a direct war there with Iran since they're behind this? What about the United States? I mean, how grave is this moment?
Look, all of that is possible, and all of that is on the table. Let me say first where you started. You're right that the Iron Dome system, their missile defense system, is incredibly sophisticated. It has saved thousands and thousands of lives because it intercepts rockets as they're coming in before they can murder civilians. However, much of this attack was not just a rocket attack, but it was ground troops that entered from Gaza, and these death squads went house to house to house. They went to a rock concert where students were enjoying a concert, and they just fired indiscriminately, murdering the concert goers. They went to bus stations and just murdered everyone standing at the bus station. And so this is a military invasion that is seeking to commit indiscriminate murder, and in particular to target civilians. This is not aimed at military targets. This is aimed at infants. They are murdering infants. They are in some instances murdering the children. In other instances, they're murdering the parents and kidnapping the infants and bringing them back to Gaza. I am sure that Israel will engage in a serious retrospective about how the Hamas troops were able to make it out of Gaza and into Israel. There was clearly a security failure on Israel's border there. That's a question that will be addressed as time goes forward. But you're right, there's an enormous risk from Lebanon to the north where you have Hezbollah. Hezbollah has thousands upon thousands of guided missiles that can target civilian population centers. There is a significant expectation that Hezbollah will step in as aggressively as Hamas is doing right now.
They're also backed by Iran.
Both are backed by Iran. Both are controlled by Iran. And I have to point out also, if you look at Hamas in Gaza, it's not just the money to Iran that Biden is responsible for. One of the very first things Joe Biden did is sent hundreds of millions of dollars into Gaza. And I actually led a group of 17 senators pressing the administration not to send money to Gaza because that money was certain to go straight to Hamas. We've now discovered that the Biden administration, they agreed, they concluded that there was a very high likelihood the money would go to Hamas and be used for terrorism. And nonetheless, they sought and received a waiver from U.S. terrorism laws because it's illegal to send money that you know will be used for terrorism. They concluded, yes, Hamas will use this for terrorism, but we want to send it anyway. I'll tell you also, there were 145 Democrats on the other side in the House who wrote a letter demanding that the Biden administration fund Gaza and let that money go to Hamas. One of those was Colin Allred, the Democrat who's running against me, who said the Biden administration needed to send those millions, even though they knew that money would be used for terrorism. Well, you're seeing the money that Biden sent being spent right now, carrying out war crimes of a degree not seen in a very, very long time.
They did know. And this is just, with due respect, anybody who thinks it's Ted Cruz, Republican, partisan speaking, that's not it. This has been reported on widely in the media. The Washington Free Beacon did a great report on seeing those warnings inside the administration saying this money is going to be used for terrorism. This is very risky. And the Biden administration overruled it and said, we're sending it anyway. And you were leading it. Yeah. I think you got 18 other senators to go along with you saying this, we should not be doing this. We should not be doing this. We know exactly if you give money to Gaza, there's Palestine and then there's Gaza. Gaza's run by Hamas. If you give money to Gaza, it's going to be used by Hamas to target Israelis and Americans. And that's exactly what appears to have happened. This show is supported by Grand Canyon University. Founded in 1949, GCU is a private Christian university that's dedicated to delivering an affordable and transformative higher education. Their vibrant campus is located in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, and according to niche.com, ranked a top 25 best campus in the country. As of June 2023, GCU offers 330 academic programs with over 270 of them online, allowing you the freedom to earn your degree on your time from wherever you are. Their programs are also designed to challenge and inspire you. At GCU, your degree, whether it's a bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, integrates the free market system and a welcoming Christian worldview. And they believe that higher education should be accessible to all. Learn more about GCU's programs, competitive tuition rates, and scholarship offers from your university counselor. They're part of the supportive graduation team who take a personalized approach to helping you achieve your academic goals, walking alongside you every step of the way. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. For more information or to enroll, visit gcu.edu. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.